All right, let's just say it. We're about to do something that's basically a sin in the investing world. We're going to question the great Warren Buffett. Yeah, the Oracle of Omaha himself. Because here's the crazy truth. Trying to do what he does, it might be the absolute worst thing you can do for your money.
Look, I know that sounds like I'm exaggerating, but the numbers, they're terrifying. Seriously. People have lost more money, more retirement savings, more everything, chasing this one idea than in any market crash. And you know what the scariest part is? It's a trap that gets you when you think you're being smart, when you're trying to do all the right things.
And this quote, this really gets to the heart of it. It's tough to hear, I get it, but it's absolutely true. We're always told, just follow the masters. But what if the master is walking a tightrope over a canyon, and you don't have his sense of balance? So let's get into it. Let's break down exactly why the game he's playing is a completely different sport from the one you're in.
Okay, so let's dig into this idea of financial suicide by imitation. Why is it so dangerous? Well, it all boils down to one simple but massive mistake: misunderstanding what you're actually supposed to be copying.
In this slide, man, it just says it all. Think about it this way. You can go out and buy the exact same shoes Usain Bolt wears, right? But are they going to make you the fastest person in the world? No way. Why? Because the shoes are just the equipment. The real magic is his legs, his lungs, his years and years of training. It's the same thing with Buffett. You can go buy Apple or Coca-Cola stock just because you see it in his portfolio, but that doesn't mean you're going to get his results. You're buying the jersey, but you're not getting the player's talent. You're missing his secret weapons, and that makes all the difference.
This leads to probably the biggest mistake I see people make. I call it the time travel error. See, you, with your portfolio, you're trying to copy the 90-year-old Warren Buffett. The billionaire managing a giant fortress of money, he's playing defense. But that's not the guy who actually made the fortune. The guy who built it all was the young, scrappy Buffett back in the 50s and 60s. He was a shark. He hunted for these things he called cigar butts, these gross, ugly companies that everyone threw away but that had one last puff of profit left in them. He was on the attack, swinging a sword. Today's Buffett, he's protecting the castle with a shield, and you're trying to defend a castle you haven't even built.
All right, so let's just pretend for a second. Let's say you could time travel and copy the young, aggressive Buffett. Even then, you'd have a much, much bigger enemy to deal with. And it's not the stock market. It's not some Wall Street hotshot. Nope, it's that thing right between your ears. It's your own brain. This is where the real battle begins.
Yeah, we all know this quote, right? Be greedy when others are fearful. We post it, we nod our heads, it makes us feel smart. But let me tell you something. Your brain could not care less about that quote when everything is on fire. When the market's crashing and every news channel is screaming about the end of the world, your ancient caveman brain takes over. It's not thinking, ooh, a buying opportunity. It's thinking, lion, run. The whole herd is running, so I better run too or I'm going to get eaten.
So let's do a little gut check. And I want you to be completely honest with yourself. Think back to 2020 or the 2008 crash. Remember that feeling when the market was down 30%, your friends were freaking out, the news was pure panic. Did you really feel greedy? Did you feel excited to buy? Or did you feel that sick, cold pit in your stomach? See, Buffett can do it because he's just wired differently. For the rest of us, it's like reading a book about how to box and then getting in the ring with Mike Tyson. You're going to get punched hard.
So what's the bottom line here? You're literally fighting your own DNA. That herding instinct, it pumps you full of stress chemicals when you try to go against the crowd. It feels physically wrong. Then there's the action bias. Your brain needs that little dopamine hit from clicking buy or sell. It hates just sitting still, even when doing nothing is the smartest move. And your ego? Oh, your ego. It tells you that simple ideas like buying an index fund are for suckers. You're smarter than that. You need something complex. And of course, good old FOMO, the fear of missing out, makes you swing at every single pitch instead of just waiting for that one perfect opportunity.
But okay, let's say you manage all that. Let's say you're a total Zen master. You've conquered fear, you've conquered greed. Well, there's still one more thing. A massive, almost unfair advantage that Buffett has that you can never get. It's like a secret rocket engine in his car while you're driving a station wagon. This is the part that shows you how the game is kind of rigged.
And here it is. This is the ultimate cheat code. Think about your car insurance. You pay your premiums every month, right? But the insurance company, they just hold on to that cash. They might not have to pay out a claim on your behalf for years, or maybe ever. That giant pile of cash they're sitting on is called the float. Now imagine that, but with billions and billions of dollars. That's what Buffett has. He gets to invest all that money, that float, for his own company's profit. It's basically a giant, permanent, interest-free loan from the world. Let me ask you, You think you could do pretty well investing if someone gave you $1 billion to play with zero interest forever? Yeah, me too. That's the game he's playing. You're playing with the money you worked for. It's just not the same sport. So, if you don't have Buffett's superhuman brain and you definitely don't have his magic money machine, what happens when you try to go out and pick value stocks on your own? Well, you end up walking straight into a minefield. And the worst part is, the mines are hidden in plain sight.
First, we have to talk about the biggest, most basic misunderstanding in all of investing, the huge difference between price and value. Price, that's just the number you see on the screen. It's what you pay. Value, that's what you actually get. It's the real, long-term earning power of the company. New investors get fixated on the price. The pros, they're obsessed with the value. And if you mix those two up, you're headed for a disaster.
And once you confuse price and value, you fall into one of two classic traps. First, there's the value trap. This is where you buy a stock that looks super cheap. Low PE ratio, nice dividend. But in reality, the company is dying. It's a melting ice cube. Every single day you own it, it just gets smaller and smaller. Then, on the flip side, you've got the high-quality trap. This is where you buy an amazing company, a real winner, but you pay a crazy high price for it. You've basically paid for 10 years of perfect growth up front. So if the company is just great instead of absolutely perfect, you still lose money.
And this all comes down to how you even define the word risk. In business school, they teach you that risk is volatility, how much the price jumps up and down. Buffett says that's total nonsense. For him, risk is one thing and one thing only: the chance that you will permanently lose your money. That's it. A stock can bounce around like crazy, but be a very low-risk investment if you bought a fantastic business for a dirt-cheap price. And a stock that's flat as a pancake can be super risky if the company's about to go bankrupt. Once you get that, it changes how you see the entire market.
Okay, so I know we've spent a lot of time tearing down this whole idea of copying Buffett. We've talked about the psychology, the unfair advantages, the common traps. So what are you supposed to do? Is it all hopeless? No, not at all. But winning means you have to do something different. You have to stop trying to play his game, and you have to start playing your game.
And this is the first step. The solution, the whole thing, starts with just admitting one simple, kind of painful truth. You are not Warren Buffett. The second you let go of that fantasy, the second you stop trying to be the next oracle, that's when you're finally free to start building real wealth for yourself. Saying I'm not Buffett isn't giving up. It's the first step to actually winning.
So what does playing your game actually look like? Here's the playbook. First, know what you know. It's called your circle of competence. Invest in industries you actually understand because of your job or your hobbies. If you're a software developer, you probably know more about tech than some analyst on Wall Street. And hey, if you feel like you don't have an edge anywhere, that's totally okay. In fact, it's great. You use what Buffett calls the know-nothing approach, which is what he tells his own family to do. Just buy a simple, low-cost S&P 500 index fund. That's it. Then, use the 90-10 rule to keep your ego in check. We'll get to that next. After that, you learn to do nothing. Automate your investments and stop checking them all the time. And last, you use the one massive advantage you have over the pros: time. They have to worry about this quarter's results. You can think in decades.
And this right here is how you do it, the 90-10 rule. It's designed to protect you from your worst enemy, which is usually yourself. Here's how it works. 90% of your money, the vast majority, goes into that boring core S&P 500 index fund. You just set it and forget it. The other 10%, that's your play money, your fun money. You want to try and be Warren Buffett? Go for it. Use that 10%. If you hit a home run, awesome. If you lose it all, well, it was a cheap lesson. But the point is, whatever happens with that 10%, it can't sink your ship. Your core is safe.
I love this quote. It's so simple and so true. Treat your portfolio like a bar of soap. The more you handle it, the smaller it gets. Your biggest risk isn't a bad market. It's you. It's your need to do something, to tinker, to react to every little headline. Real wealth is built by compounding, and compounding works best when it's left alone. So set up your automatic investments and then leave the soap alone.
In the end, it all comes down to this one idea. The stock market is just a machine. A machine that takes money from people who are impatient and gives it to people who are patient. That's all it does. It doesn't care how smart you are, how great your spreadsheets are, or what you think is going to happen next. It only rewards one thing: patience. Look, you can't have Buffett's brain and you can't have his insurance float, but you can have his patience. You can choose to have his temperament. So the question is, which one are you going to be?